Hello, it's February 20th, 2014. I am looking at Fukushima breaking news from Kevin D. Blanche. This was uploaded to YouTube on February 16th, 2014, and he is filming surfers on California beaches. Now, the reason I'm showing you this is because the people you see right there are dead men walking. Now, we're going to loop back around to this issue at the end, but that's the bottom line here, are the people on the California coast, on the West Coast, are dead men walking, and they just don't know it yet. The reason they don't know it yet will be explained in a couple articles I'm going to show you in this video. So wake up this morning to see another 100 tons of highly radioactive water leaked from a holding tank at Fukushima. And this is being treated almost complacently, like, well, what's another 100 tons? I mean, hundreds of tons daily are being pumped into the Pacific Ocean. So we have radioactive water being pumped into the Pacific Ocean since 2011, and we also have it coming in plumes across the air over to the West Coast. So we're getting like a double whammy here. Now, over at E&E News, we'll see on February 14th, they reported a study that was done in, I believe, December 2012 that showed that the Fukushima airborne plumes caused significant deposition of radioactivity over North America, especially for the West Coast and eastern U.S. Around 13% of all radioactive iodine released into the atmosphere was deposited over USA and Canada. European Commission Science for Environment Policy News Alert. It's a PDF. The link will be in the article associated with this video. The 2011 nuclear accident at Fukushima, Japan caused the release of large amount of radionuclides, unstable atoms that produce radioactive emissions to the atmosphere. Caesium and iodine radionuclides can negatively affect human health through the contamination of air, water, soil, and agriculture products. Now, they tell you later on in there that the model results suggest that 12.7% of the iodine radionuclides were deposited over the USA and Canada. Approximately 50 to 60% was deposited locally in Japan. Now, so we know that from the initial 2011 incident, we have been getting slammed with the radiation. Now, let's take a look at global research. All right, on January 27th, Fukushima is hitting the west coast of North America, but no one is measuring. So therefore, we should be alarmed. This is said by Ken Buesler, who is the head scientist at Woods Hole in Massachusetts, one of the world's top ocean science institutions. Federal, state, and local governments refuse to test for radiation on the west coast of North America. If you take a look, some of his quotes are, the predictions are rather low and are not a direct concern, but no one makes measurements of these isotopes along the west coast. No one's measuring, so therefore we should be alarmed. Now here's something he said earlier in January. What we don't really know is how fast and how much is being transported across the Pacific. Yes, models tell us it will be safe. Yes, the levels we expect off the U.S. coast and Canada we expect to be low, but we need measurements, especially now as the plumes begin to arrive along the West Coast and will actually increase in concentration over the next 1 to 2 years. Despite public concern about levels, no public agency in the U.S. is monitoring the activities in the Pacific. Without careful, extensive, consistent monitoring, we will have no way of knowing how much radiation from Fukushima is reaching our shores and how it could affect life in the ocean. There's more. This will also be shown in it'll be linked in the article with this. Now, if you take a look at another study, this was published on February 19, 2014 by E&E News. Daily release from Fukushima of 100 plus quadrillion becquerels of cesium-137 early on in the crisis, and that seems as a reasonable estimate of what's coming. And Chernobyl's total release was only 70 quadrillion. mackerels. So you're looking at something that's far worse than Chernobyl, and it's being pumped into the Pacific, and it's coming across in plumes. Now, this leads me back to the government map. This was published on February 18, 2014 at E&E News. A government map shows the highest radiation levels were directly over Salt Lake City, Utah, and surrounding area on March 20th, 2011. The most intense concentration of anywhere in the world, including Fukushima. Now, what does this have to do with anything? Well, let's take a look. Those bald eagles, remember those? Dying at a rate much higher than normal, and it's not from the West Nile virus as they previously claimed. Now they're saying maybe lead, but even those tests are proving inconclusive. The animal life is telling us you've got starfish dying off and melting into goo. You have other weird activity from whales and dolphins and sardines where they're coming into places that they're not normally seen in the levels that they're seeing them. This is all out there in the public, but nobody putting it together from the government. And the MSM, they're complicit. They're complicit in the murder of U.S. citizens by not informing them. Now I'm going to give the last quote here to someone I've come to consider a friend, Steve Quayle. When he saw the 100 tons of toxic water leaked at Fukushima plant, he said, and this is a direct quote here, well, it's written as a quote, and usually when you see those after a story, that comes directly from him. When the West Coast finally understands the danger they are in, there will be a panic exodus that's unimaginable. Now, I want you to think about this. By the time they do this panic exodus, these people, they're swimming in the water and, without a care in the world, it's going to be too late. Why? Like I said, we came back full circle. Because they're dead men walking.
We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.